It's been a week since catastrophic flooding hit our islands from the pair of Kona Low storms, and a long road to recovery continues. Governor Josh Green joins us now with more. Aloha, good morning, Governor. Thank you so much for stopping by with us.
You bet.
Any word yet on the disaster declaration from the White House?
Well, word every day. I speak or text with Secretary Mullen. He's been very responsive so far. As I shared earlier, he actually contacted me before he was confirmed last Monday. So what the plan is when they receive all the documentation from our joint assessment, we're doing a joint assessment with FEMA, then they'll make the declaration. I think it's all but assured that we've qualified, but we'll work closely with them. You know, there has been news that sometimes they've had some administrative delays, but that's why I'm in constant communication with them. We also have leaders from FEMA like Bob Fenton who have been helpful to us throughout lots of disasters like the Maui wildfire. So we're very well entrenched with this process. I think we'll put in our first iteration of the ask this week, and then we continue to upgrade it. But as you can tell, and I've gone statewide already, you could see there's so much damage in different places. They feel that we'll qualify.
This obviously takes a long time for all these processes to play out, but when you look at the state side, we do have a tight budget. Any idea what kind of financial ramification this will have for the state?
I do. So this is going to be over $1 billion disaster. Depending what kind of disaster declaration we get from the president, ultimately we'll either get 90% covered or 75% covered. That will leave a gap. A lot of people don't have flood insurance because they have old houses and they didn't need flood insurance. A lot of times people don't get full coverage from their insurance, and that's usually the delta that we have to help people with. As you saw, the Assistance Center, which is extraordinary, and I have a graphic here if people want to look at it. This is the services that are offered there. You know, they are many. You can see that we have EMS, Family Promise, the cities all over this. The state was there with Goodwill and our environmental services, HECO, you know, just to name a few of them, Board of Water Supply. All of this is meant to give people some opportunity to get different grants, different support, whether they're farmers, whether they're homeowners, whether they have problems with their power. But if we have to weigh in, then we will use our own major disaster funds. We do save over time. We have $1.75 billion in our rainy day fund. We're hoping that we don't have to tap that significantly. That's why I'm having constant communications with the House and the Senate leadership, who've been totally supportive. As terrible as the storm is, it comes at a time when the legislature is in session, so they're able to adjust all of their considerations so that we can help people in Waialua, Kona, everywhere get better help. You know, when I saw Maui, we have a hospital down. Kula Hospital has been essentially damaged beyond repair. We will set up some services that will be there for a long time, probably mobile services, but that meant 99 patients had to go elsewhere. That affected those families. All of the houses in Waialua, it's unbelievable how much mud's up there. That's why we have the National Guard. We almost always get reimbursed for most of these services, but there is going to be some, like I said, delta where the state will cover it, and that's our responsibility. That's why we have the rainy day funds.
When we spoke on the morning of the catastrophic flooding on the North Shore, you had gotten the Army involved, the 25th Infantry, to go help rescue people getting birds in the air, etc. Some North Shore residents do feel the first couple of hours of that storm, it was in the middle of the night, that they were abandoned at that point. What do you make looking back of the emergency response from different agencies?
Well, never abandoned, but certainly traumatic and terrifying. The judgment call always is, do you get people out earlier, or do you have people stay in place so they don't get stuck on the road? One car goes down like we saw in the Maui wildfire, and a lot of people could get backed up. So these are extraordinarily tough calls. Our hearts are with everybody that lived in fear. Thank God no one died. And I will say this, there will always be second guessing, and that's appropriate. That helps us get better each time. For example, the dam. We now know that the dam is old. We know that it needs to be cared for more. We will likely acquire it from Dole. We can get those waters out a little sooner. But even that will cause some people to have, you know, second guesses about whether that water should be released now or later. In that moment, in the 10 p.m. until 3 a.m. time, remember that followed 6 or 7 days of alerts to people that we had flash flooding warnings, and there were many offers to have people evacuate if they wanted to go early. But it's natural for people not to want to evacuate. The problem with this one is the streams backed up. The storm was more rain in those few hours than was expected. It's very difficult to live in places like the tropics where you can get these kind of storms. That's why we've had, in the last 10 years, a volcanic eruption. We, of course, had the pandemic. We had the Maui wildfire. We've had these floods. This is one of the challenges of living in paradise, but also in a climate situation that's very volatile. I will tell you, we should have more warnings for people. I don't want people, though, to overly criticize the good workers that did emergency management, that did the life-saving services. There were over 230 rescues because they worked, at the peak of any human capacity. But we also thank the community for stepping up. In those first couple days of any disaster, it's usually the neighbors that help people the most as all these programs can get set up. But the Community Assistance Center is now extraordinary. There's food and water going out. Nate and his team have been amazing. There's a new group coming in that's going to help with the distribution of food and supplies. So everyone has to chip in, and that's how you get through this.
You mentioned how dangerous some of our situations can be here in the islands with natural disasters. I've spoken to some people in the housing community that are concerned about potential insurance rates or insurance companies pulling out of the market entirely. What's your concern level with that?
It's significant, but we did a lot of work on that to mitigate that risk. So, after the wildfire, what I did was we created a couple things. We created a special use of some of our long-standing hurricane relief dollars that went and supplemented the market. We also, because we did things like pass the green fee, which is now supplementing some of the emergency management that hasn't historically been funded, now we are a state that has a better position to do disaster prevention. Like, we have more fire breaks. We will now have resources to deal with acquisition of dams or acquisition of floodplains where we can drain them. Some of the green fees should probably go to clean out streams. That will come in the future. Other states don't have that, which means that when we talk to the insurance market on behalf of our people, we will say, look, Hawaii is actually forward thinking. We're the only state in the country that does that. So I think that will mitigate cost. But it never can replace what people do in the moment. And people were heroic, neighbors saving neighbors, in many cases, HIEMA and the National Guard saving people. I saw over 150 guardsmen yesterday cleaning out mud on a Sunday, which of course is their role, and what their passion is to help people. So all these things are extraordinary. But again, my heart breaks when I see someone who lost all the pictures of their children or their house, which we will replace. Really, it's meant to be like this. Save people's lives in the moment, do all that you can to warn them, try to be perfect, but no one ever is, and then rebuild. So we're about 2 weeks and a couple days past the floods. I will continue to press the federal administration to make sure that they approve our disaster declaration. All I can do is try as hard as possible. But if anyone comes up short, we, the people, our ohana, will take care of each other, and that's where we have our savings to do the work.
We saw those heroes up on the North Shore, as well as the National Guardsmen, emergency first responders, etc. Incredible heroic work by them. Governor Green, thank you so much for stopping by with us.